What I'm about to tell you defies explanation. It's the strangest thing that's ever happened to me or to anyone I personally know. I work late hours at a dive bar about 30 minutes from my house. Not out of choice, really. It's just how things are when you live in a rural area. Jobs nearby are scarce, so you take what you can get. The bar isn't anything special, but it's steady work, and most nights pass without incident. That night was no different. My shift rolled by quietly, nothing out of the ordinary. After closing up, I got in my car and started the drive home. The route is mostly winding back roads, long stretches of curves cutting through woods and farmland. Hardly any traffic, barely any lights. It's usually a quiet, almost peaceful drive. I've driven it so many times I could probably do it with my eyes closed. But that night, something was off. The fog was thick, thicker than anything I'd seen in a long time. Visibility dropped so low I had to slow way down. Even when I flipped on my brights, it didn't help. The fog just caught the light and glowed back at me, creating this wall of white that felt impossible to see through. And that was just the beginning. What happened next would make me question everything I thought was normal. The fog wasn't like any ordinary mist. It seemed almost alive, swirling around the trees and hugging the road tighter with every mile. My headlights barely penetrated it, casting eerie shadows that danced on the edges of my vision. At times, I thought I saw shapes moving just beyond the glow of my lights. But whenever I blinked or looked directly, there was nothing there. The silence was deafening. No sound of other cars, no distant animals, nothing but the hum of my engine and the steady swish of tires on wet pavement. It was as if the world had shrunk down to just that tiny stretch of road I was on. A feeling of being completely isolated crept in, but mixed with a strange sense of anticipation, like something was waiting in the fog. As I rounded one particular bend, the fog thickened even more, so dense that it felt like walking through a cloud. My heart started racing. I told myself to focus, to keep my eyes on the road, but the uncertainty gnawed at me. There was no turning back. The narrow road just kept winding forward, deeper into the unknown. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any stranger, I noticed something that stopped me cold. As I slowed down even more, struggling to see through the thick fog, a shape emerged right in front of me. Something, or someone, standing silently by the side of the road. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light, a trick my tired eyes were playing. But the figure stayed there, unmoving, almost blending into the swirling mist. I couldn't make out any features, just a vague silhouette that seemed too still, too deliberate to be accidental. My mind raced. Was it someone needing help, or something else completely? Instinct told me to keep driving, but I felt rooted to the spot, drawn into this silent encounter. I blinked, and when I looked again, it was gone, vanished into the fog like it never existed. But a cold chill ran down my spine, and my hands tightened on the wheel. That wasn't just a shadow or a trick. Something was out there, something that didn't belong. Yet, even as my heart pounded and the road stretched endlessly ahead, I knew the night wasn't done with me. Far from it. I forced myself to keep moving, eyes scanning every inch beyond the glow of my headlights. The fog seemed to react, thickening as if trying to swallow the road whole. Every shadow now felt alive, every rustle in the trees a warning. Then, out of nowhere, a strange sound pierced the silence, a low, almost metallic scraping coming from the woods beside me. my breath caught. I slowed even more, straining to listen, heart pounding louder than my engine. The road curved sharply, and just as I rounded the bend, headlights appeared behind me, sudden and bright, cutting through the gloom. Relief mixed with tension. Was it someone coming to help, or someone, or something I didn't want to meet on this lonely road? I pressed the accelerator a bit, but the feeling of being watched stayed heavy, like invisible eyes tracking every move. That night, the fog wasn't just a weather quirk, it was the curtain on a night that would change everything. And that was only the beginning. The headlights behind me stayed close, tailing my every turn as if glued to my car. No matter how much I sped up or slowed down, they kept pace, never flashing, never signaling, just following like a silent shadow. My mind spun with questions. Who or what was behind that wheel? The fog seemed to thicken even more as I tried to lose them, carving sharper turns through the winding back roads. Yet, every time I dared glance in the rearview mirror, those headlights were still there, unwavering and patient, like a predator waiting for the right moment. Suddenly, the headlights disappeared. 1 second, they were right behind me, and the next, they were gone, vanished as if swallowed by the night itself. My heart hammered with a mix of relief and fear. What had just happened? Had the car been real, or something else entirely? The road ahead stretched empty, but I knew this night was far from over. Something unseen was playing a game, leaving me trapped in a drive that felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. The script has been developed in stages following your structure and tone guidelines. If you want, I can continue creating the next sections, or help with refining or expanding these parts further. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. For the longest stretch after the mysterious headlights vanished, the fog pressed close, wrapping everything in a thick, suffocating silence. I could feel it closing in, like the night itself was watching, waiting. Every crackle on the radio became sharp and sudden, adding to the nervous energy gripping me tight. Then came the unexpected. A soft glow ahead, flickering like a lantern's light. At first, I thought it might be a porch light or a passing car, but as I got closer, it wasn't any of that. It was something else, something unexplainable, standing in the middle of the road. A faint, pulsing light that didn't belong to any vehicle I'd ever seen. I hit the brakes hard, heart pounding so loud, I was sure the whole countryside could hear. My hands shook as I reached for the door lock. Was this a clue, a warning, or just another trick this night had in store for me? Whatever it was real, and it wasn't going anywhere. And as quickly as it appeared, the light flickered out, swallowed by the fog, leaving me alone with the night, and questions I still couldn't answer. But the worst was yet to come. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever experienced, the kind that presses on your chest, making it hard to breathe. I gripped the wheel tighter, muscles tensed, eyes scanning every shadow and flicker beyond the faint glow of my headlights. Suddenly, my car's radio crackled to life, but it wasn't music or static. It was faint, fragmented voices whispering just out of clear hearing. I leaned closer, trying to catch the words, but they slipped away like echoes fading into the fog. My skin crawled, every instinct screaming that something was dangerously wrong. As I reached a stretch where the trees crowded close on either side, the air grew colder, biting through my jacket and seeping in deeper. A soft tapping on my window jolted me, quick, light, but unmistakably there. I jerked my head toward the sound, but the glass was clear. No one was there, or so I thought. That night wasn't just about eerie fog or strange lights. It was about something unseen, something that defied logic, yet refused to let me go. And all I could do was keep driving, hoping to find a way back to normal before the fog claimed me entirely. Finally, just when I thought I couldn't take another moment of that suffocating night, the fog began to thin. The thick curtain of white slowly lifted, revealing the familiar outlines of my neighborhood, the first streetlights flickering in the distance like beacons of safety. But even as relief washed over me, a deeper unease lingered. What I'd experienced felt like more than just a strange night drive. It was a brush with something beyond explanation, something that didn't belong in the world I thought I knew. I still don't have the answers. Some nights I replay that drive in my mind, trying to make sense of the shadows, the light, and the silence. And every time the same question haunts me. What was really out there in the fog that night? Maybe it's a warning, or maybe just a mystery I'm not supposed to understand. Whatever it is, one thing is certain. I never want to drive through that fog again. After that night, life didn't go back to normal. Every time the fog rolls in, a part of me freezes, the same way it did on those empty back roads. I can't shake the feeling that whatever followed me, or whatever I caught a glimpse of, is still lurking, waiting for the next time the mist settles in. Friends have laughed off my story, chalked it up to tired eyes or an overactive imagination. But those who've driven those roads know better. There's a silence there that feels too deep, too watchful, like the land itself is keeping secrets. I don't know if I'll ever get answers, but if you ever find yourself driving alone on a foggy night down deserted rural roads, remember this. Some things hide in the mist, and sometimes it's better not to look back, because once you see them, they might never let you go. That story might sound like a simple drive gone strange, but it's a reminder that even the most familiar paths can hide the unexplainable. And sometimes what seems like a quiet, uneventful night can turn into something you'll never forget. If nothing else, it's a warning to respect the unknown and to trust that sometimes the shadows and fog keep their own secrets for a reason. So next time you're out late, driving through the dark, remember this story, because the night has a way of revealing things we're not always ready to face. And what I experienced out there on those deserted roads, it's a mystery I'm still trying to understand. Maybe one day I'll find the answers. But until then, I'm sticking to well-lit streets and keeping my eyes wide open. Thanks for listening, and stay safe out there. This story reminds us that life is full of events that can feel mysterious and beyond our understanding, especially in moments when we think we have control over everything around us. It's important to remember that there are limits to what we can comprehend, and that some things remain secrets hidden in the darkness and fog. Let's take this experience as a reminder to always be cautious and respectful of nature and forces that might be beyond our perception. We should stay aware of our surroundings, not let fear control us, but use it as motivation to be more careful and vigilant. Lastly, never forget that safety comes first, especially when driving in dark or difficult conditions. Stay alert and hold on to hope, because every experience, no matter how strange, teaches us a valuable lesson in life. Stay safe, respect the unknown, and remember, The real victims are those who underestimate it.